Welcome back to Sutton Farms. We're back today. It's been a little while. We're going to work on floor pans. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up the MIG welder. We're going to look at the flux core wire that we have for it. And we're going to do some tracing, some cutting. So hopefully we get one in today as opposed to last time. And we'll show you how it goes.
It kicked in there?
Yeah, it must have. So we got a kick panel. We took that out so when we're welding we don't have to worry about burning that. But it's got a, I don't know if you can see, somewhere in here there's a tiny little hole. And then, so we'll take this and put it to the side. We're gonna work on the passenger front to start. And we're just gonna lay this new pan in. We're gonna trace around it. Oh, that screw's on top there, Dad. Yep. We're gonna lay the pan in here. Get it to where it's gonna fit, where the old one did, which is right there. I think what we decided on is we're gonna hammer this into place, into submission. We're gonna screw it in with some self-tapping screws. Then we're gonna trace it, and then we're gonna take it back out, and then we're gonna start cutting a little bit of the metal at a time so that we don't overcut. Zoom, zoom. No, not even on the paint. You got anything else? We could just scratch it like you said. Keep cutting a little pieces as we get in there. So what we want to do is leave as much of this metal as we can and get the bad stuff out and see where we sit. you can see that I slept well. And we're back out working on the Mustang. The phone died last night, or the camera died, so you weren't able to see some of the stuff we did, but I'll show that to you now. What we did was we buffed it all down, sprayed it with a rust paint, and then we'll go back and buff off any of the areas that we're going to weld. We got a little hole down in here, but that'll be covered by, and we'll fill that in with weld. And we'll see where we go from here. I think it fits pretty well.
It looks and sounds like it. It's hard to tell. But
I mean, it's nice and solid. What we need to do is measure it, because it's got these braces. And then here, I think what we'll do is measure it here, and then just drill some holes, start working on that, get the welder out, weld up the braces.
I think I'm going to get a new.
All right, we got a wig welder. That's right, wig welder. Got our MIG welder here. Working on the lines. And with everything being new, should work all right. Go. Let's see here. Pop that open. Spool of wire will go in here. We got the flux core. We'll run it through. That should feed pretty well. See if we can weld this first. And this. And then we'll start working on the pan. We have to do some hammering to get these flat. But you get to watch and see how it goes. not the best welds, but
Yeah.
I think they'll hold. And for the first time welding in 25, 30 years.
Yeah.
All right, so we have pre-drilled holes so we can do our spot welds along the unibody frame. We've shined up, taken away the paint so we can weld along the edges. I'm gonna set the pan in the floor, and then we'll clean up around the edges, put a couple self-tapping screws in to hold it down, and then hopefully just weld it in a little bit here and there, even if we don't get it finished today.
You're gonna paint that.
All right, we have one floor pan mostly in. I need to work on welding the adjustments. But we're done for the weekend. We gotta head back home. We've got a party the little one has to go to, and then her brother and I are gonna maybe go see a movie or just hang out at home. That's it for Sutton Farms for this weekend. We'll try to be back on the Mustang as soon as possible. Okay, welcome back. We are now working on the rear floor pans. I'll show you what that looks like here in a second. But this is about day 3. The first floor pan took quite a bit of work. We still have a little bit of welding. I'll show you that as well. We got the new floor pan. The old ones, we're gonna try to get both old floor pans cut out today, and maybe the new ones dropped in and maybe tack welded, something like that. But let me show you what that looks like. So we got more light in here. You can see they're pretty bad. But we should be able to cut out all around here and then set the new floor pan right in. There's the floor pan. It needs to be cleaned up and buffed, painted, primed, painted. And then we've got another one over there, and then the last floor pan, you can see it doesn't cover up under the clutch and around the bright light switch, dimmer switch. So we're gonna have to get another piece of steel and weld that in, but that's going to be not today. So let's get started. Some of this, and look, that piece came right out.
Watch it.
We'll drill some holes like we did last time up here, where they did the spot welds. And we'll do the spot welds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 holes, and then we'll weld around the edge. But what we might do is set that one in there, cut the other one out, get all the cutting done, At least the bad stuff's cut out. It'll fit right over it. So the old door tag. So you're gonna find on these Mustangs, you've got the VIN number and a lot about the car, the interior color, the engine size, etc. Both here, and then just the VIN number here on the frame. And this one, when my dad had it painted back in, what'd you say, 79, 78? 80s, had it painted black from the candy apple red. My uncle, who painted it, didn't tape over this, which is no big deal, but we ordered from Marty Works, I think, a new data tag to stick on here. It'll look a little better. And then today we're hoping to work on some of this interior stuff. We found some holes underneath the seat, and we're gonna try to weld a couple pieces in there. We were cleaning the headliner, and by we, I mean I was cleaning the headliner, and I popped. I think it just gets old and brittle after a while. So I think everything is good in there. Like the bows and the insulation we can probably keep. We were gonna work with the holes that we have and just leave the headliner. But for about $150, we can get a new headliner and get that put in there. And of course, to take all that out, we had to take half the car apart. But the nice thing is, we found another couple little holes that we can patch up while we're at it. We got inside here one of these hoses, this hose that drains from the vent. So that's the air vent. Doesn't just look pretty. It's actually an air vent that you can use in your back seat. You can close it and open it. And we found that the drain, if any water gets in there, is supposed to drain out the bottom. Over here, it was just draining on the floor behind the seat or under the seat. So I'm glad we took it apart. And we can polish up some stuff and get it all fixed up. Get these floor pans put in, welded in. We cut those out. You saw a short maybe of that yesterday. Get those hammered into place, buff off some of this paint so we can weld it. And then we're gonna work on the front. Maybe next time, the whole video will probably be about the front, because this has got a giant hole through the firewall. You can see the dimmer switch is just hanging on by a thread. So the old girl needs a little work. But let's work on this data tag. I think we're gonna drill out, we've got the special rivets to put it in. Just drill out these old ones, put in the new one, and see what it looks like.
That's up to you how many you're going to take.
Old one off, and we'll put the new one on with the rivets if we can. And then it'll look a lot better. We get it painted next time, we'll have to tape it off.
Yeah.
Just a little peek in here, what we had to do to take it apart. So to get behind these rivets and to get it apart, we had to take off all the inside, and then we're gonna have to get in here, hold it down, buck it down. The rivets will be on the new tag, and then we can move on. Had to spray this one. They made this to be a removable, you're supposed to turn that. That's for the side mirror moves. But you gotta remove this chrome face to get it off. And we're gonna have to do that because we're gonna have to deep clean all this while we have it apart. Little job turns into a lot. And with a little work, we got the new replacement door tag that's not all painted black. Looks perfect. Got the original rivets. Now everything's good to go, and we can keep working on a couple things in here before we do a little family Easter. So we've spent a little time looking around. We've got Easter dinner coming up, and what we've decided is to put a to be continued before we put down these floor pans. We've got the replacement door tag in. We took apart the door. We've cleaned up a little bit inside. And like I said, what we're gonna do, instead of rushing it, we have drill holes to make. We have paint to buff down so that we can get our welds to it here. So instead of rushing all that, As you guys know, I'm sure if you do projects like this, instead of rushing it, doing other stuff, giving half the time to the family and half the time to the project, we're gonna hold off. We're gonna give all the time to the family. We're gonna come back in a couple of weeks when we have no necessarily special family dinner or event going on. We're gonna come back and we're gonna start working on these. But I will put together that video, which you just watched. If you like it, subscribe, like, give us some comments, tell us what we're doing wrong or if there's something that we're doing that you like. We're trying to keep it as original as possible. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you next time on Sutton Farms. Thank you.